hear it out of his mouth.
A stunning new twist just a day after we learned Hillary Clinton used her non-secure BlackBerry while traveling in Russia and China as Secretary of State. Video now emerging on Clinton back in 2014 saying she could not use personal devices in those countries. She said this due to the risk of being hacked. Watch.
Our country's acting like we're the only people in the world trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, every time I went to countries like China or Russia, I mean, we couldn't take our computers, we couldn't take our, personal devices, we couldn't take anything off the plane because they're so good. They would penetrate them in a minute, less, a nanosecond.
See, she knew better. This just after an investigation by the Daily Caller found that Clinton sent at least 36 emails from her personal BlackBerry during 7 different trips to China, Vietnam, and Russia while she was Secretary of State. Andrea, that she just said,
acknowledged,
as a paid expert, ostensibly, she's speaking at a security conference, so she's standing up there as somebody who knows better and saying, you know what, you can't even take it off the plane. You got to pop the batteries out. Yet she did exactly that. So what conclusion do you draw?
This flies in the face of her oopsie daisy. I'm not really good with technology. I don't know how many devices I was using. I mean, this is willful deceit. And remember, it was either willful deceit or it was incompetence. And she was comfortable with the incompetence tack. I don't know who would be running for president of the United States. But this is willful now. And Melissa, when you look at the actions that she took with that BlackBerry, it is a clear violation using an unsecured BlackBerry in those countries of OPSEC security procedure. And she knew that, and we know now with this video that she did. Each instance that she used the BlackBerry, every email sent is a separate felony.
Yeah. Stacey, she knew better.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the video and she says it right there. What more do you need?
I don't know. Every employee of the government is briefed on how to deal with classified information, especially secretaries. So she knew exactly what to do or not do. So the spillage of information from a secured place to a server in her barn and not to a skiff, which is where it should have been, is just negligence.
Yeah.
Negligence that puts our country at risk.
Yeah.
So she makes it sound like all these other countries were so good. She knew that her phone was vulnerable. She knew how vulnerable it was because the NSA said, we are not going to secure your BlackBerry for you. She asked several times. She wanted it. Condoleezza Rice and others had been cleared in their staffs. But the NSA told her, and this is per the Judicial Watch that's obtained these documents. You can read it for yourself. She was told that her staff the numbers were too big of the people who might be exposed. They knew that there were problems back then. So it's disingenuous of her to blame it on the other countries. She in particular knew that her device was vulnerable because it didn't even match up with what the NSA would have done to protect it because it wasn't malleable enough for her. What they wanted to do to protect that BlackBerry and to secure it didn't match up with her needs, so she didn't want it.
Absolutely.
How serious is this, Pete, though? I mean, as somebody who's out there, who's fought, who faces the enemy, I mean, what is this? Are we nitpicking over emails, or is this people's lives?
No, I'm going to go with the Joe Biden response. This is a big bleeping deal. It is. It's the non-secure BlackBerry. It's knowing that they're targeting you. It's using it anyway. You know what that video reminded me of? Remember when Hillary Clinton landed under sniper fire in Bosnia and then came back and told tall tales about it? That's exactly what this is. She wants to talk tough, big stories about what she did, secret squirrel stuff. But in reality, she's on the plane, pulling out her BlackBerry, in her hotel, pulling out her BlackBerry, violating the rules blatantly because she doesn't think the rules apply to her. But then she comes back home and talks about how tough she is, how difficult it was.
But it's arguably the largest national security breach we have seen in decades. I mean, FDR would have had her summarily thrown in prison. And the worst part of this is Barack Obama has gone on the record to defend her by saying she wasn't hacked. The president does not believe that she was hacked. So he is circling the wagons around her, which means so is the DOJ and so is the administration.
Well, it won't matter what he believes if they can prove that she was. But in the point about the BlackBerry was she wasn't supposed to have it, period. Whether or not she was on the down low, she wasn't. The NSA said no.
She acknowledges
the NSA said no.
That she knew better as well. It's amazing.
It's all there.